Hey friend, so I have talked about three things in the last 2 days: shadow work, true self, and the dark night of the soul. And I'm going to kind of wrap those up in a ball together to discuss this and how you're feeling and what you're going through and how I went through something similar. I shared this video earlier today. That period of my life was incredibly difficult. It was 100% what we call the dark night of the soul, which is when the ego itself meets the shadow. The ego finds that shadow completely unbearable. Because what you saw in that video there wasn't the shadow, like what we talk about in shadow work, but it was the symptom of the shadow. Visually, it was the pain, but beneath it was dependency, which I never wanted to acknowledge, but was very much always there. It was a belief that I had that my worth was dependent on the opinion and validation of others. I didn't even realize I had that belief until things happened to force me to realize that it was absolutely there. What happens is when life and circumstances strips the rule away that I had and shines a light on this shadow part that I'd been denying, I became completely unbalanced. The ego itself had lost its footing entirely. Carl Jung might have called it a shadow integration crisis, because I could not accept the fact that I had actually been living that way and that it was no longer available to me. The result of it is the dark night of the soul. And that is the total collapse of the identity and the self, any control I thought I had over my life. I was not sure I was going to make it through that time unscathed. What I realized in that time is that the dark night of the soul was not punishment, it was a transformation. It was an initiation into a transformation. It's like if your psyche and your ego is a house of cards and something knocks it over, and then that gives you the opportunity to rebuild it up in a more authentic way. What I learned in that time, which I could never have understood before, is that love and my self-worth comes from within me. I do not need it from the outside. And I could not comprehend that before. Instead of sitting in it and wallowing in it, I made a decision to take it down, to tear down that belief. For me, that was the integration of the shadow. I no longer have this emotional and psychological dependency on others. That's exactly what an ego death is that you hear about all the time. It's when one version of you dies and a new version emerges. There's another video I saw today that you might find interesting. What that video shows is two neurons reaching out for and connecting to each other. Your brain does this when you learn something new, when you learn a skill, when you memorize something, when you change a belief. It's called neuroplasticity, and it's essentially the brain rewiring itself. It even happens after an injury or trauma or an emotional experience or a dark night of the soul. Your mind isn't fixed, your emotional patterns aren't permanent, and this way you're feeling right now is also not permanent. You're in grief, when you forgive something, when you fall in love again, your brain is going to rewire itself. Old pathways in your brain that used to light up with fear or anxiety or pain suddenly dim, they fizzle out. The new ones come to life and they flicker and they are stronger. Literally the architecture of the spirit and the mind, and it is fucking magical. Now, if somebody had told me this a couple of years ago when I was going through the dark night of the soul, I don't know if I would have believed it at the time. I wanted to believe it. It took a while. It's not until you're on the other end of it that you can look back with gratitude, and I do every friggin' day. Every day I look back and any echoes of pain from that time are gone. I'm just filled with gratitude that I am who I am today, that I've been through what I've been through, and that I am so much stronger now. There are certain things that hurt me so bad in the past that can't hurt me anymore. That is the journey to the true self. I've experienced, I've learned, I've destroyed, and I've grown. Your true self is whoever you are right now. And that, if you're feeling any pain or sadness or grief, that is your true self. That's your true self growing. Once you become that new version of yourself, the old things that hurt you can't hurt you anymore. Keep working through it. Keep trying to be a little bit stronger every day. And I promise you, it ends. I promise you there is something better on the other side. So I hope that helps.